Good morning, everyone. It is April 6th, Wednesday morning, and taking a look at the weather map for today. We have an area of low pressure situated off around the Texas area. We have another area of low pressure situated over in central Minnesota. Both these areas of low pressure were producing heavy precipitation. One of them is producing heavy precipitation on the backside as well, where we have an Arctic air mass producing snow, even heavy snow, more than 6 inches in some areas in North Dakota. In fact, we have winter storm warnings in effect for parts of those areas. There might even be some heavier precipitation rates due to upslope winds up the mountains, which squeezes all the moisture out of these clouds for parts of North Dakota. The Black Hills, those are the hills responsible for any upsloping that does occur. We might have more details in regards to that later on today on a podcast, but for now we're going to leave it at that. This system is then going to be producing snow over in the Thunder Bay area, which the Environmental Canada has issued a heavy snow warning in effect for that area as of yesterday, forecasting about 6 to 10 inches for that area, 15 to 25 centimeters, which is equivalent to about, well, you figure 10 centimeters is 4 inches, so 15 should be about 6 inches, and 6 to 10 inches of snow for that area. That was the forecast yesterday. We'll have some updates in regards to that perhaps later on today. The main area of precipitation with the southern low pressure system, which on the map that I'm looking at, it doesn't seem to be so clear exactly where it is, but there is something in South Texas, but we have something also in southern Louisiana. That might be the one that is going to have the main impact on the country today, as severe weather risks are well established in the southeast part of the country. We have an enhanced risk going from Georgia all the way through the western parts of South Carolina, southern parts of Tennessee and Kentucky, and the eastern parts of Alabama. That's a circular area and I just want to verify that it is Tennessee, that it is Kentucky. I'm not sure about Kentucky, but there's an area over there where there's an enhanced risk. That means approximately a 30% chance for severe weather within a 25-mile radius, defined as 58-mile-per-hour wind gusts or higher, or frequent cloud to ground lightning, or large hail, or tornadoes. Areas surrounding that, it puts all of Mississippi into a severe weather threat, all of Georgia, all of South Carolina, and all of Tennessee, except for the extreme western portions of Tennessee, half of Mississippi. But Louisiana is not in a severe weather threat, according to this weather map over here. They are in a thunderstorm threat, but that's about it. Most of that area is in a slight risk for severe weather. A little bit of that area is in an enhanced risk of severe weather, coming up to the Kentucky-Ohio border. An enhanced risk means only a 5 to 15% chance of severe weather within a 25-mile radius. Pennsylvania is out of the woods on this one, just thunderstorms for there. And Maryland, it's, if any, maybe a marginal risk, but that's something that the Washington, D.C. meteorologists who work for the Washington Post are not only awesome forecasters, they also express the forecast very well. They're excellent at communicating the forecast to the public. A lot of times the inaccuracies that people perceive is actually just a lack of effective communication between the National Weather Service and the public, and storms which have a reputation for being a bust. Actually, if the forecasts would have been communicated better, people would realize that the meteorologists were not as far off as people think. But in any case, moving right along, we have this low pressure system. The two of them are going to be combining, and it's going to be one powerful storm system as we go through the day today. This is going to bring rain into the Chicago area. Actually, rain has already been brought into our area. And eventually, the system is moving so slow, it's going to gradually weaken, but bring continuous on and off light precipitation in the form of rain, gradually, slowly changing over to more and more snow as we go through the days. Today, tomorrow, Friday. No snow today, but perhaps later on Thursday and Friday. But it's really on and off light precipitation, although there could be some convective precipitation, according to some sources that I saw yesterday, in which case there could be a pop-up heavy snow shower here and there. But before we say the scary term snow squall, I would want to look more into that, and we would have an update later on today of Bli Neder. That low pressure system is going to be weakening, and it's going to bring, in the words of the National Weather Service in Des Moines, Iowa, 3 days of misery for them, just clouds and nothing really going on. But this whole thing is going to lead to really warm weather for the beginning part of next week for many places across the Midwest, as a desert heat wave brings record heat to that area and gradually moves east. We have temperatures likely going to go into the mid-90s for Los Angeles, California on Friday. We have temperatures going into the upper 90s for Blythe, California, breaking a record possibly on Shabbos for them. Some areas will see their peak heating Thursday and Friday. Other areas Friday or Shabbos. Yuma, Arizona might see 4 days of temperatures in the 90s. Other areas might not get as much. Texas already is experiencing intense heat. High temperature yesterday at Falcon Lake, Texas, 104 degrees. And we have to do an update to check what's going on with them for the next few days, because originally they were forecasted to get intense heat, and we have no reason to think otherwise. But the weather map does show a front moving through that area. I still suspect that they're still going to have highs in the 90s, except South Padre Island might only see 1 day. In regards to the number of days that South Texas will be in the heat, we'll have an update later on today. Im Yirtzeh Hashem Bli Neder, but we will see highs regardless. Brownsville is at risk of breaking a 103-year-old record, as we spoke about yesterday, set back in 1919, as temperatures go into the low to mid hundreds. We go into the Florida area. High temperatures are in the low 90s for Orlando, Florida, and they could expect thunderstorms with a large part of the country, not including Miami, is in a marginal risk for severe weather. That means a 5 to 15% chance for severe weather within a 25-mile radius. The warm days here in the Chicago areas, it's going to be Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday next week before we gradually turn cooler, especially for next weekend, when temperatures are going to be going 6 to even 9 degrees below normal. And that is due to a trough in the jet stream. Next week, we have big stuff coming up. If you heard in the previous podcast, which probably described the situation next week and will describe it better than this podcast, maybe we'll have another update on that later on today. But a monster storm system is likely to develop next week due to a very large contrast in temperatures. The upper Midwest should prepare for a 6 to 18 inches of snow on the backside. You know, there's areas, the National Weather Service, for areas close to Thunder Bay, they indicate that some areas in the higher terrain of next to Lake Superior might be getting 18 inches of snow with this one. Most areas perhaps only 3 to 6, some areas 6 to 10 inches. Next week, it's going to be a similar situation. Meteorologists warn that the severe weather outbreak next week, they say, will be the first widespread severe weather event for the plains of the season. Strange words, because we've been hearing all about the severe weather, but the severe weather we've been hearing about were the south central states, sometimes Texas, sometimes Oklahoma. We heard yesterday there were tornado warnings in effect all over the place in Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, just around 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock. In effect, until 4:30 for those areas. Those warnings expired around 4:30. We had flash flood warnings for those areas. Other severe weather warnings in effect for Texas. And we had stuff over the past that's been going on in Oklahoma. Next week, what they mean is that the severe weather outbreak, the risk is going to go further north than it has been up until now. But at the same time, it's still not going to make it all the way up to the way upper Midwest like Minnesota. They're going to have to wait a little bit longer before those storm systems make it up there. Thank you for listening. I'm just going to leave off with a little bit of a local forecast here. The cold front has moved through, but nonetheless, because of sunshine expected later today, even though we're behind the front, high temperatures are expected to make it into the low 60s today. That's with southwest winds, west to southwest winds, 15 to 30 miles per hour. And that's despite the fact the cold front has already moved through. The colder air really comes in tonight with lows around 40 degrees. Tomorrow we'll see highs in the upper 40s as those clouds and showers stick around for the next couple of days due to this cutoff low. It's barely moving, and it's just going to gradually weaken and fall apart. On and off showers, possibly becoming mixed with snow, and then even a higher chance for them mixing with snow Thursday night and Friday morning. The low temperatures mid-30s, highs Friday, low 40s. Temperatures remain pretty cool on Shabbos. Temperatures in the 40s. The real warm air comes in Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, but really not super warm here in the Chicago area. Some forecasters do think temperatures may surpass 74 degrees, which is the highest we've seen so far this year. But it seems like it's very possible that's going to be reserved peak heating. The cities which are going to get the warmest they've ever been this year, that might be places like St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, perhaps Kansas City, Missouri, temperature 80 degrees this Sunday. That was the forecast yesterday. We have 4 days of 70s headed for the St. Louis area. Thank you for listening. I wish everyone a great day. Thank you, everyone. That last 15 seconds or so was Kol Mekadesh from the album Yingerlach, and it's beautiful music. So anyone interested can look into that. Kol Tov, have a wonderful day. Thank you.